With the TCAT system, it's very easy for students to apply. The first thing that students have to do is just contact the institution or go on the website. There's an application available there. The next thing the student needs to do is to choose a program area that they want to register for. And by program area, I mean if they want to go into mechatronics, advanced manufacturing, if they want to go into welding, automotive, an allied health program, they choose that program and complete their application. There's some standard things that every TCAT requires, shot records. They also have to make sure that they have their application in, any supporting documents that they need. They turn that material into the TCAT, and then when there is an opening, the TCAT calls the student or emails the student, and the student's able to come in and get started into classes. Our allied health programs do require the students to take a COMPASS exam, but every campus has that information on their website. We are truly the easiest college to get into. Once the student enrolls and they're contacted by the institution, they've already chosen their program. They just need to choose if they want to go full-time or part-time. That's basically it. Students register for programs, they do not register for classes. Once that student is admitted, they receive an academic listing of all the programs they have to take for every trimester that they're involved. So they will have the classes they're taking, they'll know the tools that they need, they'll know the books that they need, they'll even know the cost, and they'll also know their graduation date when they first enroll. So no worrying about if classes are going to be offered or how they're going to figure out school and work. They know their schedule from the very beginning. The students choose their program and they choose whether they go full-time or part-time. And that's pretty much it, and work with their campus, and they're enrolled. The equipment that the student needs will vary by program. Automotive students will certainly have to purchase tools that they'll need for working on vehicles. Aviation will purchase the different tools that they need. And then a cosmetology student will purchase the kit that they have to have. That's all going to vary a little bit by institution, but it's listed on every website. Yes, it is required that once the school calls the student and tells them that they've been accepted for this particular term, they are scheduled for an orientation. They can do that either in a group or they can do it individually with a student services staff member. But it's very important that students come to the orientation because they'll learn about the mission, the philosophy, the policies, the procedures, the calendars. TCATs are a little different in the fact that we're clock hour based institution, which is different from credit based. When students register at a TCAT, they will decide if they're going full-time or part-time, and that pretty much sets their schedule. Students go terms based on clock hours, and a full-time student will go 432 hours for a term in a TCAT setting. And within those 432 hours, they'll have their courses broken down based on hours and competencies that they have to complete. Usually students will go September to December, that's considered the fall term, and then they also go January to April, that's considered the spring term, and then they go May to August. The good news is that if a student fails to register for maybe the September term, they can always check at the institution and see if there's space available for them to register in October. We're open entry, open exit, so students can come and go and register as their schedule changes and their needs dictate what they have to do. A full-time student will go 30 hours a week, every day for 6 hours. And I know that sounds like a lot and a little overwhelming. It's almost like a job, which of course is what we're preparing students to do, is to enter the workplace. But during a 6-hour day, a student may spend a couple of hours in lecture with a faculty member. They may spend a couple of hours on the computer doing some assigned work, or they may be out in the lab doing hands-on skill work and check-offs. So their day goes pretty quickly because there's so many different things that they're involved in. I can assure you they are not sitting at a desk 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. There's lots of different activities that the student has to complete as they move towards their completion dates. TCATs do not offer housing for students. All of our students are commuter students. A student may live in their own home. As an adult student, they may live with their parents if they're a younger adult. They may live in apartments. Our student services will work with students if they're looking for housing in a particular area. They'll have a list of apartments, duplexes, and folks needing roommates or those sorts of things. We'll help the student, but we don't offer any on-campus housing. Well, the good news is at a TCAT, we don't require an ACT score. What happens is a student in a non-allied health program will come to get registered, get accepted, start school. Within the first week of their program, the student will go to a class called Technology Foundations. And in that class, the student will be tested using KeyTrain, which is an ACT product. There's no right or wrong answers on there, but what we do is the teacher works with that particular student, getting their scores up to where they need to be for their program area. For instance, a welder may need a certain math score, whereas a machine tool major may need even a higher math score. So they work with that Technology Foundation and their classroom instructor until they get the score that they need. The good news is that every person has to go to Tech Foundations. And they all go to there's no singling people out. The majority of our students will finish Tech Foundations in about the first 2 months of their first trimester. They'll go 1 to 2 hours a week. Usually at a TCAT, a student will give a lot of thought to the program area. We hope that the student will come by and talk to the instructor of the program, will visit the classroom, talk to students. So the student, for the most part, has a pretty good idea about what program. But you always have 1 or 2 that will change their mind. And that happens, and our student services works with that particular student and helps them find the correct occupational program for them. One of the things that we like to do with our students is to help them get into the program, learn the skills that they need in the fastest way possible so then they can exit and get into the workplace. And so they have a set number of classes that they take, and the student follows pretty much that regimen as they go through the program. They may vary just a little based on their needs and the instructor's needs and what, they think is the best for the student, but for the most part, they know every class that they're going to take from the very beginning in the order that they'll take them. We have some of the best student services people in the nation. I'm so proud of every one of our campuses and their student services department because they truly work with each individual student trying to make sure that they have what they need to be successful in college. And so they will work with them if they have financial difficulties while they're in school, if they're having transportation issues, if they're having health issues, then the student will go to student services. They have a staff there that will help them with community resources to put them in the right direction. And that's been very important for our students. At a TCAT, a student chooses a program, and those programs will vary in the length. Our shortest program is truck driving, which is 216 clock hours. That's about a 7-week program. The machining, industrial maintenance, those programs are run about 21 months as far as how long it takes a student to start and complete if they're going full-time. Allied health programs are all 1 year in length, and one of the things that I think is real important is that the TCATs are competency-based. Not only are we open entry, open exit for our non-allied health programs, but we're competency-based. So if a student comes in with some skills, maybe in the computer area that they learned in high school, then they may be able to progress at a higher rate than someone who has absolutely no skills. So we do work with students, and it's a competency-based type program. The TCATs are very excited to say that our placement rate for the 2012-13 year was 86%, which is pretty high, and that's placement in their field of study. So what happens is towards the end of the program, students will generally either co-op or do some type of internship actually in a business or industry. So that helps students to gain experience. Then we also have business and industry folks come in and talk with our students, interview our students, and also we work with them through student services to make sure that they're ready for the job search. Their resume's ready, their interviewing skills are ready, and we have the Tech Foundation teacher again starts to work with the student. The program area works with the student, and student services works with that student to help them prepare for the job. Two things that I think that we're very proud of is that alumni rate us as 96% satisfactory or above when they talk about were they ready to go into the workplace with the skills they needed and the knowledge that they needed. And so we're real proud of that. Even prouder that the fact that the employers that hire our graduates, anywhere from Nissan, Amazon, Volkswagen, FedEx, rate at 97%, say that our students are ready to go into the workplace, prepared to do the tasks that they need to do. We're very proud of that with the TCAT system. Sometimes when we work with students, and because of the way that we operate Monday through Friday, it's important that students have some things taken care of. How are they going to get back and forth? Do they have reliable transportation? Do they have reliable child care if that's an issue? Funding is generally not a problem with the TCATs. We're generally, with the help of Pell and also, of course, the Tennessee Promise coming on board and the Wilder-Navy Technical Skills Grants. Money is not always an issue for students to make tuition, but they do need to make sure that they know how they're going to take care of some of the other issues in their life that pop up, emergencies. And so it's best that students sort of think that through before they start. Well, number one, I would want students to really be ready, to realize that they will be coming to school, that it is college, there will be rigor. One of the things we do that's a little different from some colleges is we take attendance, and attendance matters greatly to a student. We also do something called worker characteristics, where we work with students and grade students on their abilities to work in teams, communicate, their attendance, those sorts of things. They receive a grade every term for those different items because that's real important to business and industry. So I'd want students to know that this is serious, this is not fun and games. They're working with some really high-powered equipment, so safety is at the forefront in every program. And so we work very hard with those students to help them understand and make that transition. The TCAT system-wide have some great opportunities for students certainly to join the workforce, but also while they're in school. We have a huge participation in Skills USA. We just sent 93 contestants to the Nationals in Kansas City. 75 of those students placed in the top 10 in their contest areas, which means they're the top 10 in the nation. We have a National Honor Society, we have student government. So there's all kinds of activities that students, if they want to get involved with, that they can also be involved with, and I think that's important. The other thing I'd like to talk about is that our programs are very much based on what our local industry is saying that they need. Our industry folks meet with our instructors at least twice a year to go over the curriculum, the competencies, the machining, the tools, everything that we're expecting students to do, so that when students do graduate, they have the skills ready to go to work. And we're real proud of that.